With just days to go before Africa hosts the first ever G20 Leaders Summit, South Africa says it is fully prepared to welcome presidents, prime ministers, and diplomats from across the world, despite a dramatic last minute boycott by US President Donald Trump. On Wednesday, South Africa's security cluster staged a high profile readiness parade in Soweto, where the acting Minister of Police and National Police Commissioner General Faniel Masemola urged officers to maintain discipline, professionalism, and firmness throughout the summit. Masemola told assembled forces that the success of the landmark gathering depend heavily on their vigilance. Authorities say a protest will be allowed only in designated zones around the Johannesburg venue. Several civil society groups are planning demonstrations over the weekend, and officials warn that non compliance will trigger immediate legal consequences. A strict lockdown perimeter will be enforced from Friday through Monday. The build up to the summit took an unexpected turn after President Donald Trump announced that the United States would not participate in the G20 meeting. In a statement posted on his social media platform, Trump declared that no American officials, including Vice President J.D. Vance, who had been scheduled to attend, would travel to Johannesburg. The president repeated his long-standing claims of violence that and land sieges against white farmers in South Africa, calling the country's role as G20 host a complete disgrace. He also urged the bloc to consider expelling South Africa altogether. The South African government swiftly dismissed Trump's assertions as baseless. President Cyril Ramaphosa said he personally briefed Trump to clarify that allegations of persecution against Afrikaners are entirely untrue.
Boycotts never really work. They have a very contradictory effect. The United States, by not being at the G20, one must never think that we are not going to go on with the G20. The G20 will go on. All other heads of state will be there. In the end, we will take fundamental decisions, and their absence is their loss.
Officials emphasized that white South Africans still enjoy a higher standard of living than the black majority 3 decades after apartheid ended. Trump's boycott marks the latest flashpoint in worsening U.S. South Africa relations. Earlier in the year, Secretary of the State Marco Rubio skipped the G20 foreign ministers meeting, objecting to agenda terms of climate change and diversity. That administration has also referenced the disputed claims about white South Africans in its restrictive refugee policy, suggesting most of the reduced annual intake of 7,500 would be South African refugees. Despite Washington's absence, South Africa insists the historic summit will proceed without disruption. Security forces are on high alert, logistics teams are in place, and Johannesburg is bracing for a weekend of tight controls, heavy motorcades, and a global attention as Africa welcomes the G20 for the very first time.